The Pacific Northwest, a vast, ancient expanse of green and gray, where secrets are buried under centuries of damp earth and moss. For years, whispers of the Sasquatch have echoed through these forests, tales told around campfires, dismissed by most as folklore. But when a surge of unexplained seismic activity rocks the region around Mount St. Helens, and people start vanishing without a trace, renowned cryptozoologist Dr. Kenji Tanaka knows it's something more. He believes the two phenomena are connected, that the legendary creature is somehow responsible for the ground shaking and the disappearances. He packs his gear, driven by a lifetime of chasing shadows, and heads into the mist-shrouded wilderness, expecting to find an ape-like cryptid. What he discovers is a truth far older and infinitely more terrifying. The forest greets him not with silence, but with an unnerving, watchful stillness. Towering old-growth trees form a canopy so dense it blots out the sky, plunging the world into a perpetual twilight. The air is heavy, thick with the scent of wet soil and decay. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of a branch, sounds like a footstep just behind him. Dr. Tanaka is a man of science, but even he feels a primal sense of being watched, of trespassing in a place that does not want him here. The geological tremors he came to investigate are not random. They feel deliberate, localized. The ground beneath his feet seems to groan in protest of his presence. He sets up his sensitive monitoring equipment, hoping to triangulate the source of the disturbances, but the readings are unlike anything he's ever seen. They aren't geological. They're biological. The forest itself seems to have a heartbeat. As Kenji ventures deeper, the environment becomes actively hostile. The tangled roots that cover the forest floor are not just obstacles. They shift and writhe, attempting to trip him, to ensnare him. Paths that were clear moments before become impenetrable thickets of thorny branches. The very landscape seems to be rearranging itself, trying to confuse him, to trap him, to crush him. He feels a crushing sense of isolation, a dread that seeps into his bones. This isn't the work of a Sasquatch. This is the power of a corrupted, malevolent nature. It's then that he remembers the old stories, the local Native American legends he'd initially dismissed. Tales of an ancient forest guardian, a territorial entity known as the Root King, a being that perceives humanity not as visitors, but as an invasive infection, a plague upon the land. The tremors, the disappearances, it all clicks into place. He isn't hunting a creature. He is being hunted by the forest itself. His scientific mission has now become a desperate fight for survival. His only weapons are his knowledge of animal behavior and a piece of specialized sonic equipment, a device designed to emit frequencies that can disrupt animal sensory organs. He hopes it might work on whatever this entity is. He has to get to its core, to the heart of this living forest, and deploy the device. He navigates the treacherous, shifting terrain, his senses on high alert. He catches glimpses of movement at the edge of his vision, a massive form, perfectly camouflaged as a cluster of ancient trees, moving with a slow, grinding inevitability. The scale of it is incomprehensible. He realizes he's not just in the creature's territory. He is the territory. The ground he walks on is its skin, the trees its limbs. The rustling he hears is the sound of its anger. He follows the intensifying seismic pulses, pushing through the disorienting, claustrophobic woods. The air grows thick with a low, vibrating hum that resonates in his chest. Finally, through the oppressive mist, he sees it. A colossal, hollowed-out ancient tree, impossibly large, pulsating with a faint, sickly green light from within. This is the heart of the Root King's domain, the nexus of its power. As he approaches, the ground erupts. Roots thick as pythons burst from the soil, lashing out like tentacles. The forest roars, a cacophony of snapping wood and grinding stone. And then, from the hollow of the ancient tree, the entity emerges. It's a grotesque amalgamation of gnarled bark, tangled roots, and glowing, parasitic fungi. Its form is vaguely humanoid, but on a titanic scale, its sheer size seeming to warp the space around it. There are no eyes, no face, just an overwhelming presence of ancient, undiluted rage. This is it, his one chance. With trembling hands, Kenji primes his sonic device. The Root King towers over him, a mountain of living wood and fury, preparing to annihilate the intruder. He slams the activator. A high-frequency pulse, invisible but incredibly powerful, shrieks through the air. The sound is agonizing, a physical blow that rips through the clearing. The Root King recoils, its form convulsing. The sonic blast is tearing it apart from the inside, disrupting the ancient energy that holds it together. But the entity doesn't die quietly. The entire forest goes into a death throe. The ground splits open, trees topple, and the very air seems to solidify as the enraged guardian tries to crush Kenji in its final moments. He runs, stumbling, crawling, as the world collapses around him. Behind him, he hears a final, catastrophic implosion as the Root King's core collapses, sealing the ancient, hollow tree and plunging the forest back into a semblance of quiet. Kenji stumbles out of the forest hours later, a ghost of the man who went in. He is battered, bleeding, and mentally scarred by the primeval horror he witnessed. He collapses at the forest's edge, gasping for air in a world that suddenly feels fragile and vulnerable. He knows he hasn't killed the Root King. He has only forced it back into a deep slumber, buying humanity a reprieve. But for how long? Nature has a long memory, and it has shown its wrath. With the last of his strength, he finds a sharp rock and etches a warning onto a large boulder at the edge of the woods. A simple, desperate plea for future generations to remember, to respect the world they inhabit, and to never, ever awaken the anger of the forest again. He saved the world, for now. But he left as a broken man, the sole keeper of a terrible secret, forever haunted by the heartbeat of the earth. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the dark heart of the wild, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories from the shadows.